Brighton, if I can, Glenn. How do you feel about this? You know, your former club, of course, without a win in 8. Norwich are scoring late goals and winning football matches as well. Potential of an upset here today?
Listen, I think it's important to say that Brighton have drawn 6 of those 8. They're not on a really negative slide. But yes, they've maybe lost their way slightly. Can't quite find that right concoction at the minute. But this afternoon, it's an opportunity to get people back in the side. I see Solly March is down in Norwich, so that's important to get him back fit and firing. Listen, as a Premier League team going away from home to a Championship side, it's always a sticky situation. It's a no-win situation. You want to get your win, you want to get out of there and get home and get into the next round. Whereas for Norwich, they'll fancy their chances.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you make, Rachel, of Brighton this season? Their last win was against Bournemouth on the 23rd of November. Glenn says, you know, let's look at this in a positive aspect in terms of the draws. However, we used to see Brighton go on better runs than that.
Well, I think what we've got used to over the last 3 or 4 years is exciting Brighton. You know, the way that they've played, bringing in players of relatively unknown sort of quantity and then becoming absolutely amazing and lighting up with the style of play. And that sort of it's gone a bit flat, that's all. There's been a few key injuries, like you said about Solly March. There's been turnovers of managers. Brighton fans probably get used to that. And I don't think there's any major problem at Brighton. They just haven't converted as many games that they've gone ahead in as they, you know, into 3 points.
Just one quick one before we move on, and just a general one from you both in terms of, you know, there are teams who are in the draw for the 3rd round who are battling relegation, some pushing for European football as well. Where do you stand on the commitment of the football club to progress in the FA Cup?
Listen, I think it's a huge opportunity for a lot of football clubs that aren't necessarily going to win the Premier League to get silverware on the table. I think your likes of your Brentfords, your Brightons, that ilk of team, even though teams lower down the Premier League, they should see this as a real opportunity to progress.
I'd be excited. You know, Nottingham Forest and Luton is a prime example of that. Luton are, you know, dropped like a stone since relegation from the Premier League and will be fighting for survival almost in the Championship up against a high-flying Nottingham Forest who could be sniffing silverware this season.
So are you saying your priority if you're Luton Town is to get out of the Cup and concentrate on staying in the Championship?
I would suggest so,
yeah,
unfortunately.
Okay. All right, we'll talk about Rob Edwards later in the programme. Right then, we are going to show you all the goals as they go in from our 3 o'clock kickoffs in the FA Cup this afternoon. And later, it's Manchester City against Salford City on BBC One from 5:30. Leeds United, Harrogate Town, available on the iPlayer from 5:35. The Cup weekend started on Thursday. 3 ties. Here are the goals from all those games.